Hello my fellow human beings, today I'm here with a different kind of video. I'm not talking about philosophical questions today and stuff that I figured out. I'm talking about movies and something that's very important to me. So I'm gonna mirror this video later on because then you can read the PowerPoint. Now it's, mirrored. So I think that's one of a kind video. I'm not gonna do a lot on politics. Maybe I'll do some more. I don't know. It's not really on politics, but it's about the current situation in a lot of countries, in the country I live in, and in a lot of other countries where people are being voted, they are denying the Holocaust and are just very right-winged, and it's scaring me, to be honest. And I myself am a big movie lover. Through movies I figure stuff out, they make me feel seen, they just are able to express what I'm feeling, and they educate. And today I'm gonna show you some movies that I think you need to watch, not to let history repeat itself. Basically, they're movies about Hitler, World War II, war in general, and the Holocaust, because I'm from Austria and we get taught a lot about the Holocaust in school because, yeah, basically Austria was part of that really sad and devastating thing, the Holocaust. Austrians claim partially that they've been freed by, United States of America, France, Great Britain and the Soviet Union, and I agree to that because my grandparents grew up under Hitler and my grandparents basically lived through World War II, and they were anti-Nazi and they found it to be, being freed. They felt like they were being freed. But on the other side of the story, we can't deny that a lot of Austrians were Nazis, that there are more and more occurring incidents today from people making the Hitler goes again and just having Nazi ideology. And I think we as Austrians have to fight for history to not repeat itself, to fight against those people who deny the Holocaust, who praise Hitler. And I'm just so scared and devastated because there's a party having a lot of votes that's basically racist and right-winged, and it just really scares me. And also Trump winning in the United States of America, Elon Musk showing the Hitler Gruß, and just a lot of other really concerning developments in our country's politics. That's why I want you to, why I want to show you movies that help me regain strength, and that I think everybody should watch once in their life, so that they can see what war does to people, what such things as, executing people and deporting people can do to society and can harm generations after it. So movies about World War II, Hitler, the Nazis and the harm they caused. So I'm gonna show you the best movies and what they are about. I'm gonna tell you what they are about. And yeah, what messages they deliver to, you know, raise awareness and to let everybody know, and that they please never forget what happened and what war can do. I'm sure your great grandparents or your grandparents were in war, and the harm they took from it. Take that as a lesson. And I wanna say a trigger warning. In those movies, because it's about war and the Nazi time, there's violence, there's execution, there is murder, abuse. And if you're very sensitive, please don't watch those movies, or maybe read the books, or watch those with someone you trust. So, the first movie, and I think it's one of the most famous about World War II and the Holocaust, is Schindler's List. Those are some dates for the director and the date it was, you know, published. So it's basically about the Holocaust, and the main character is Oskar Schindler. He owns a factory, and he was indeed part of the Nazi party, but he used his position to save over 1,000 Jews from execution. It's, yeah, I know no one, everybody I know who saw the movie cried. Men alike as women. And I would really recommend you to watch it with someone, because watching it alone is really, it just leaves you speechless and devastated. You're gonna think about that movie long after you watched it, but I think it's one of the best movies, and it just summarizes what Holocaust was like, what life was like then, and how people can turn into monsters when they're manipulated, gaslighted, or just when society gives them space for the bad side. But it also gives you hope that there are still people out there who, you know, fight for the right thing, fight for human rights, fight for humanity in general. So must watch, but not alone. So Swing Kids, those are the dates and the director. So basically it's about swing kids. It's about teenagers in Germany who love swing and go out and dance, and the Nazis actually thought swing was something bad, that it, I don't know, made people evil, and it was forbidden. And this movie shows what effect the rise of the NSDAP and Hitler had on the youth, and how people and children and teenagers got teared apart by you know, a part of them becomes Nazis, a part of them refused to join the HJ. It's like the organization for teenagers under Hitler, and it's just a really devastating, and yeah, I don't know, I think you should watch it. It's really touching, and it shows what, you know, the Nazi time and Holocaust was like for kids who were not Jews, and yeah, how Hitler managed to recruit like some and some not, and I don't know, I just really recommend this one. And yeah, it basically goes to the development of the character's society and the rise of the NSDAP. This one, I watched it, I sobbed for 2 hours straight, but I think it's one of the best movies of all time. It's not a movie about World War II, but World War I, but it just really shows what war does to people. And actually, it's a movie after a book, and Hitler wanted to take this book to, you know, encourage people to go to war, but the author said, no, this book is here to warn people about war and what it does to people. And then he got, you know, chased by Hitler and he fled, and this book was just used to war people, which I think is amazing. And the movie, I think every single person on this planet should be forced to watch this movie, because it's about yeah, as I said, World War One, and you know, it starts with teenagers who are like lured into going to the military in World War One, and at first they're like super enthusiastic and saying, yeah, we're gonna be heroes. And the further the story goes, the more they experience the seriousness of war. And All Quiet on the Western Front is one of the devastating movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It just shows how war and the things people see at war can traumatize one, just humans. And honestly, I think it left a scar on my soul as well by just watching it. It's so the ending is traumatic and devastating, and the things you see are really not easy to handle. It was one of the most devastating and traumatizing movies I've seen in my life, but it's still, I think, one of the best. I would watch it 1,000 times again because it shows me what war can do to people, and that I'm never gonna do something and vote for someone that's potentially gonna do this again, because that's not human anymore. War is one of the worst things that can happen. So great, I cut off the title, The Boy in the Striped Pajama. So I read this one when I was like 13, and yeah, I really got interested in the topic as I knew that my grandparents suffered under Hitler. And this, I would recommend the book as well. The movie is basically about, or the story is about a boy who's a son of a Nazi officer, commander, and they move near a concentration camp, and he does not know what's going on. He thinks this is a big game and that the people there are there with their own free will, and he basically is a little bit neglected by his parents because, you know, they're Nazi commanders. And then he wanders around and goes to the fence of the concentration camp, and he makes a friend, and how he sees everything, and that he always thinks that's a game. And just it tore me apart, especially the ending. So it just showed me that children don't see race. We are taught to see race, and it just showed me that if we all keep the genuinity of a child, of ourselves as a child inside us, this world would be a lot more peaceful. So I really recommend reading the book, watching the movie, but don't do it alone. The ending, you don't see specific scenes of violence, but devastating ending. I sobbed as well after watching that movie. The Pianist. It's a movie about, you know, the Holocaust, and it shows what life in the ghettos was like, you know, where all people who were supposed to be executed were forced to live in a small town together, and they were just surveillanced all the time. And it's basically about this guy. It's an autobiography. This stuff happened in real life. I think most of the movies I showed you have like a kind of true background, but not everything. They all are about, you know, world war, and the Holocaust, so they have a true background. But this one especially is an autobiography. This happened that way. So it's about a Jewish pianist and his family is locked into a ghetto, and it's a complex storyline, but the essence is that this guy, the pianist, survives by hiding, and through his music he convinces a German soldier to hide him and give him food, and that helps him survive. And in the ending, no, I'm not gonna spoil the end, but it just shows you that it wasn't everything black and white back then, because as in Schindler's List, maybe party members of the NSDAP weren't that bad people. They were just forced into their environment. But the majority was not. The majority, they were straight up criminals. They are straight up criminals. They are monsters. But I really recommend this movie. His performance, I forgot his name, is also amazing, really touching. And the ending is kind of positive, kind of partially positive. But a part is just not sitting right with me. It just makes me really sad. Then, last but not least, the Windermere children. This movie is actually a real story. It's about after the war, when kids and children who were traumatized, who lost their families, who had been in concentration camps and endured abuse, undescribable abuse, come to a camp in Great Britain, in Windermere. And it just shows how they find their way back into life. And the stories that come to light with the therapists of those children is just... I cried once again. It's leaving you speechless. And but the good thing is it has like a good ending, and those stories are real. You see on this picture, those are the actors, and those are the real children from back then. So I think this is a must watch as well if you want to have a kind of positive turn on the story. So watch those movies, because the political situations in various countries, people like Elon Musk showing the Hitler goes, and they seem to forget what happened. And I think it's my duty to remind everyone of what happened. And I think those movies are a great way of doing so, because you don't have to watch hour-long documentaries, but you really get the essence of what happened and what it did to people, and that you don't want anything like that to happen again. So must watch. And then it's just, yeah, never again. Never again. Don't forget, be aware, remember what happened, and fight for the good, fight for humanity, and educate people who seem to forget what happened. Never forget. Don't let history repeat itself. Thank you for your attention. Maybe you're gonna watch one of those movies. And don't worry, I'm gonna shoot other videos with my regular content soon. But I just felt like it was my duty, and I think movies are a fun, not fun way, but a way that you can educate people and communicate various facts. Yeah, so thank you for your attention.